Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
America turned 250, and what a weekend it was. We are going to talk all about everything from record temps in Washington, D.C. to funerals for dictators. So much happened. All right, it is the Karel Show. I am Karel. Happy Monday, July 6th. So very glad you are joining me. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot happened this weekend. America turned 250. Half of us felt like celebrating. The other half, not so much. We're going to talk about that. Today in history, Frida Kahlo was born. Happy birthday, Frida Kahlo. What an incredible story, an incredible painter, an incredible woman. So happy heavenly birthday to Frida Kahlo. And of course, we've got to talk about the debacle in D.C., as I have dubbed it, because that's what it was. I hope you had a happy 4th of July no matter what you did. I had friends over. Brandon and his family came over. The kids are getting so big. And then Steve came over with Valentino, and I made Beyond Burgers that were so good because I caramelized the onions for 40 minutes with sugar and red wine. And oh my God, it was just, those burgers. And I made potato salad, and I roasted the red potatoes first instead of boiling them. And that changed the entire vibe of the salad. I may recreate that for a video here for a Vegan in Vegas segment here on the Karel Show. So stay tuned later this week. I may do that. It's really good. Really, really tasty. So we've got a lot to talk about on this fabulous whirlwind cavalcade. Am I streaming? I hope I am. Because I should be. So there we are. Okay. Sometimes YouTube doesn't refresh, and I don't know if I'm out there talking to anybody or not. And, that's that way. But I am. I am here. Yeah, I'm here. I'm live. Woo! Poke me. I'm live. Poke me, please. Somebody, anybody. Okay. So before we begin, something happened to my sister. Actually, her partner, her boyfriend or whatever he is, over this last weekend, which exemplifies America to me. It really does. And I think when you hear the story, you'll realize it exemplifies America to you as well. Classism, all kinds of stuff. Because Donald Trump is out with this red scare. Democrats are communist. And that's because he knows that the people that follow him have no idea what the word communist even means. Donald Trump is almost a practicing communist. And yet, MAGA and the Republicans, they always call others what they are. They always call out behavior that they do. And it's the same here. They are closer to a communist party than anything that we've ever had in the United States. So, of course, they're going to call the Democrats communist. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is buying shares and stakes in private companies as the U.S. government. That's communism. Communism is when the government owns all of the private companies that provide services to the people. That's communism. At its very definition, that's what it is. It is the government owning, or the people, in the form of the government, the people owning all of the services that provide services to the people. And your worth is gauged upon your contributions to society and working for those entities. That's what communism is. It is a workers' movement. It has been distorted by many despots and therefore gotten a bad name. But communism, on its surface, the tenets of communism are not only not bad, but because they aim to get rid of classism, they aim to get rid of stratification, no uber wealthy, no poor, and they aim for a more equitable society. It has just never been realized in practice because fascists are the ones who tend to try to be communist. Pol Pot, Stalin, that sort of stuff. Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is behaving like a communist. When he insists the U.S. government has a share in private companies, that's communism. He's too stupid to know it. His followers are too stupid to know it. But we're going to talk about this
if
stratification.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
Now, Donald Trump is out trying to scare the masses about the Democrats being communist. And he's getting his forms of government mixed up because he's a blithering idiot. This morning in the Oval Office, he said someone donated $6,250,000. He meant to say $6,250,000, but because he has dementia, his brain, gets confused. Meanwhile, I'm quite sure Mitch McConnell is dead. Well, let me rephrase. I guarantee Mitch McConnell is on life support, and they're going to keep him alive and breathing on machines, this is my belief, until the midterms, so they don't have to vacate his seat in advance. I truly believe they are keeping him alive on life support so they don't have to vacate his seat until the midterms. But in all intents and purposes, I believe Mitch McConnell is dead. That being said, a lot of us think he died like 10 years ago. That being said, Donald Trump is getting socialism and communism mixed up. Yes, Mandami is a democratic socialist. Yes, the woman who just won in Colorado is a democratic socialist. Yes, there is a left-wing movement inside the Democratic Party of democratic socialism, which I am all on board for, by the way. And let me tell you why. One of the things we keep calling for in this country is universal health care. That's socialized medicine. Medicare is socialized medicine, okay? So as a democratic socialist, which I believe I am, I want health care for all. Let me tell you what happened to my sister and her partner. You will believe, I'll say, oh, you won't believe it, but you will. So yesterday morning, my sister's partner, Tim, was cleaning up around the property. And he reached down to get something, and he got stung by a very vicious-looking scorpion. Okay? Just an angry-looking scorpion. Immediately, his hand began to throb and hurt. It started to go up his arm, his wrist, his elbow, his shoulder, then his side. They rush him to the hospital. He gets to the hospital. They take him back. Big deal. Oh, been bitten by a scorpion. Oh, pain radiating up his arm. Oh. So they get him in the back. Then the doctor comes in. And the doctor says, I, as a doctor, don't normally ask this, but I have to ask you, do you have health insurance? And he says, no, my work doesn't offer it. I don't have health insurance. And the doctor then says, well, then we're going to have to keep you here for 8 hours. And he says, why? Isn't there an antivenom? And the doctor said, yes, there is an antivenom, and we could give it to you right now, and then you would only have to stay for like an hour. However, the antivenom is $50,000. You heard me right. Scorpion antivenom is $50,000. And if you don't have insurance, the only way you can get it is if you are near death. So they said he was going to have to stay in the ER on IVs, muscle relaxers, anticonvulsives, and they would have to see if he developed other symptoms of the toxin: vision loss, drooling, extreme muscle cramps. He was already twitching. He was twitching. He had enormous pain in his left arm all the way up to his rib cage. And they said, if you get worse, we can give you the antivenom. Otherwise, we just have to wait it out because you don't have insurance. I told Roseanne he should have said he had insurance, let them bill him, and filed bankruptcy. There are so many problems with that story. First of all, who the fuck charges $50,000 for antivenom from a scorpion? There's nothing you're going to say to convince me that antivenom cost the drug company $50,000 to produce. Okay, that's the first thing. That's the first thing. Second of all, to say to a patient who has been bitten by a scorpion, we cannot help you with antivenom because you don't have health insurance unless you are dying, is everything that's wrong with America summed up in one hospital visit. Right there. First of all, the classism. Oh, if you're rich, no problem. Oh, you're poor? Oh, you don't get the antivenom. You're just one of the working poor with no health insurance? Well, then you may have to die. So the stratification of the income was a shining example of what happened in that ER. And then the ridiculousness of not having universal health care. Can you imagine someone you love has been bitten by a toxic animal, a scorpion, which people can die from, and they are told at the hospital, which has antivenom, we can't give it to you because you don't have insurance and the shot costs $50,000. I was just so taken aback by that. I was so taken aback by that story that my sister told me. I can believe it. But it just summed up everything that is wrong in America. Like everything that's wrong in America. And how any health care provider can live with themselves, I don't know. How does that doctor live with himself? Having to tell people, oh, I have a cure right here in this bag, but I can't give it to you because you ain't got $50,000. So you're going to have to sit here with your tics and your pain, and we're just going to have to hope that you don't go blind, that you don't start drooling, having seizures. Then if you do, we can give you what's in this bag. But not until. Unless you're rich. Or you got the health insurance. That's a really, really sad story. And it's being repeated in hospital after hospital after hospital. Not just about venom for rattlesnakes or, scorpions, but for all kinds of other life-saving treatments that are there and are available, but you and I can't access because we either don't have insurance, don't have the right insurance, are underinsured, or our insurance has to pre-approve it, whatever. Life-saving healthcare right there in front of you that you can't access. It's happening every single day, and it happened to my sister's partner this weekend when he got stung by a scorpion. It is sad, and Republicans don't care. Donald Trump certainly doesn't care. The only people that care are Democratic Socialists. The people that Donald Trump is vilifying and calling communist, because he doesn't know what a communist really is. And he doesn't realize that he and his best butt buddy, Vladimir Putin, are the closest thing to communism the world has seen. He is best friends with Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin, two communists. So how dare he go on any kind of tirade against communism when his best butt buddies are communists? So there's that. Now, as you know, yeah, I agree. What anti-venom could cost $50,000. I agree with Devin Alex 24 in the chat room. It doesn't. It doesn't cost that much. I guarantee they don't pay that much for it in Europe. I guarantee they don't pay that much for it in Argentina, Venezuela, Costa Rica. I guarantee you the only place in the entire world where a bag of scorpion antivenom is $50,000 is the United States of America. I guarantee it. We could ask ChatGPT. You want to? Let's say my friend was stung by a scorpion. The ER said no antivenom without insurance because it is $50,000. How could that be? And is it that price in other countries? Let's see what that has to say. Because I don't buy it for a moment. Let's see. Why is it so expensive? The antivenom used in the U.S. for Arizona bark scorpion is called Anascorp. It is an orphan drug, meaning it's used for a relatively rare condition. Therefore, it is made by immunizing horses and purifying their antibodies, a complex process. Very few Americans need it. U.S. hospitals mark it up. The average price per vial is $10,000 to $30,000 or more. Patients often need, a hospital pays around $4,000 per vial, but they bill patients $10,000 to $30,000, and a patient may need 3 to 5 vials. That's why it's $10,000 a treatment, and they need 5 vials of it. So that's $50,000. But it costs the hospital $4,000. See? That is all kinds of disgusting. So a drug which costs the hospital $4,000 per vial, they mark up to $10,000 per vial. And you need 3 to 5 vials if you're stung. Wow. Well, they didn't give it to him. They wouldn't give it to him because he didn't have health insurance. Guess how much it is in Mexico? Guess how much? In America, it's $10,000 to $30,000 per vial. Guess how much it is in Mexico? $50 a vial. $50 a vial. $50 in Mexico. $50 for a $10,000. $50 in Mexico. $10,000 in the United States. Let's see. Costa Rica, $100 per vial. Venezuela, $75 per vial. I could go on and on and on. I could. And that just shows, that just shows what is wrong with America right there. It sums it all up. All right, I'd like to invite you to watch the show daily at youtube.com/reallykarel, ReallyKarel, at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Thursday, sometimes Friday too. Watch the show at youtube.com/reallykarel. For those of you regulars that know, we talked to Scott Jacobson, who is currently in Ukraine. Last night in Ukraine, there were all kinds of bombings in Kyiv. 18 people are dead. I'm very happy to tell you Scott is not one of them. I texted him this morning, and while missiles and drones did fall around him all night, they did not hit him, and he was out reporting on them. So he's okay, just so you know. Anyway, so if you'd like to watch the show, it's youtube.com/Really Karel. That's youtube.com/Really Karel. If you would like to donate to the Karel Cast, I would love for you to. And all you have to do is go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/Really Karel. Patreon.com/Really Karel and become a monthly donor. We could certainly use you. Okay? We'll be back in a moment, and we're going to talk about the debacle in D.C. That's what they should call it, the debacle in D.C. And what happened elsewhere in the United States over this July 4th weekend, where America turned 250, and many, 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 many of you did not feel like celebrating. I did not feel like celebrating. And we'll address that when we come back. So don't go anywhere except to my website, reallykarel.com. That's really, Karel.com. And July 23rd, my new single is coming. You have to be proud. July 23rd. Oh, yes. It's coming. July 23rd. You heard it here first. Coming. Oh, boy.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
All right. So, can I just tell you how much I hate fireworks? Can I just tell you? This weekend tested my tolerance of fireworks. And I used to like a fireworks show. I hate them now. I hate them. First of all, they're archaic. They are so 19th century, 18th century. They're just not 21st century. Okay? That's the first thing. We have drones. We have lasers. We have holograms. We don't need shit that blows up in the air. I could go through all the negative effects of fireworks on the environment, the air pollution, the wild animals that are displaced, the amount of dogs that escape from yards and are either killed or put into shelters, the amount of dogs at home either drugged or cowering like Ember was, peeing. She peed the bed, and I couldn't be mad at her because she was terrified. I could go on about how they emulate war, how veterans with PTSD absolutely can't stand them. Why can't we evolve past fireworks? We don't need them. They're not a God-given right. And by the way, any of you people who went out and spent $100 or $200 on a box of fireworks, don't fucking complain to me about the price of food or the price of gas or the price of rent. If you've got enough money to go out and buy a box of shit that literally just blows up and burn your money, then I don't want to hear about how the economy is tight for you. And that's who's buying this stuff. Poor people. Poor people who are so easily amused that you light a sparkler or you blow something up in the air and they're just all, ooh, ah. Fireworks are for idiots. They truly are. Fireworks are for people whose idea of entertainment is so limited that they sit there and go, ooh, ah. Sparkly colors in the sky. Ooh, ah. Emulating bombs. You know, I bet they didn't have any fireworks in Ukraine. You know? They don't need them. They have real bombs falling on their heads. And I bet you military veterans who served in Iraq, Afghanistan, or any other war do not sit around watching fireworks show, because they've had real bombs dropped on their heads or exploding in the sky above. Birds in parks. Yesterday, when I went to Desert Breeze, there were so many baby birds on the ground dying because the parents can't bring them back up into the nest. A human can't touch them or they'll kill them. And they fell out because of the fireworks, because of the noise, the explosions, and all of that. They jumped, and they fell out, and now they will die. Creatures actually die every year because of fireworks. Dogs, birds, squirrels, all kinds of animals, and nobody cares. Because, ooh, they have to watch shit go boom. They'll spend $200 on stuff that's gone in 20 minutes and complain about the grocery store. You know? We do not need fireworks that explode. They have drones. In China, their drone shows are incredible. They use like 100,000 drones. It's incredible. Over here, nope. Ooh, blow up. Ooh. Absolutely disgusting. California is thinking about outlawing them. And I would. And I mean all of them. If I were president, I would outlaw all fireworks, including fireworks shows. I would make the fireworks show promoters switch to drones, holograms, and lasers. Period. Period. No more fun. The Chinese invented fireworks thousands of years ago. And we can't invent something better that doesn't scare animals, scare humans, terrorize people? We can't evolve? Of course we can. Fireworks should be outlawed. All of them. Period. They serve no purpose except to entertain idiots. That's all they do. They entertain idiots and cause pollution and scare animals and soldiers. They're ridiculous. You know, and I outgrew them. Yeah, I used to like them when I was a kid. Now that I'm an adult and I know better, it's like, no. Just no. When I was a kid, okay. Ooh, a sparkler. Whee! I was a kid. And sparklers burn your arms. So if I had my way, they'd be gone. Americans love their fireworks like they love their meat and milk. Yep, Americans are idiots. They love shit that is bad for them. And that's why as a culture we're dying. And as a people we're dying. You know, people are not having babies, and that's a scientific thing. Science will show you that when societies are on their way out, their population drops. People stop reproducing. People are not reproducing because everyone knows we're done. We're done. You know, when we come back, Washington, D.C. was a debacle this weekend. An absolute embarrassment. And why? Because of climate change that the very administration denies. 105 degrees in Washington, D.C. is hotter than it has ever been in the recorded history of Washington, D.C. And yet this weekend, it was 105 with thunderstorms. So it wasn't a dry heat like it is here. It's going to be 107 here today. It's going to be 110 here tomorrow. And I'm so tired of them saying unseasonably warm weather in Vegas. No, I've been here 8 years now. This is it. This is the new normal. They act like 110 and 120 are abnormal. Nope. I've been here 8 years, and every year now for the last 5 years, we've gone up to that temperature. Why? Climate change. Building a city that doesn't have white sidewalks, white pavement to reflect the heat. Building a city that just absorbs the heat all day long and then does not cool down at night. Vegas is the worst made city for heat in the country, and yet it is the city that is heating up the fastest. And now you've got the East Coast starting to heat up just as fast. But don't say the word climate change. Oh no. MAGA will be like, oh no. No such thing. Oh, this is normal.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy.
Now it's your time.
Well, I'm reading the chat room. People, I don't believe we're done. I'm not as pessimistic as you. Then you're not paying attention to science. We're done. We're not done in the next 5 or 10 or even 100 years, but we're done. Humans are running their course. Humans will not be here in 5,000 years in the numbers that we are now. We're done. We're finding new and inventive ways every day to kill ourselves. Be it disease, which is now running rampant because of Donald Trump. Now we've got this explosive diarrhea disease that you get from, fruits, vegetables, produce, from not washing it, etc. Ebola's on the rise. COVID's still here. Another virus just waiting to happen. Oh no, we're done. We have no the United States, I give the United States, the United States is over. Everyone's acting like, we made 250. We didn't. And I know you guys are like, yes, we did. You're just being pessimistic. No, we didn't. The United States ended in 1861 when 13 states decided that owning slaves was more important than morals, values, than a constitution. They have never... White supremacists, this debacle in D.C., white supremacists marched through the streets of D.C. with their faces covered on public transportation, which should not have been allowed. All over D.C., these cowardly white supremacists with faces covered marched on our nation's capital, including the America 250 rally, and they carried Confederate flags. If you carry a Confederate flag, you should face a firing squad, not by private individuals. No private individual should go shoot anybody. But if you carry a Confederate flag, you should be arrested for treason and put in front of a firing squad, because you are carrying the flag of a conquered army, which were traitors to the United States of America. You cannot carry a Nazi flag in Germany. You will be arrested. It should be the same thing here. It is not freedom of speech or freedom of expression to carry the flag of the parts of the United States that committed treason against it, that picked up arms against it. That flag should be illegal, not marched through Washington, D.C. on July 4th at the hands of white supremacists. Any country that allows that is done. You want to act like we're not done. We're done. We are not united, period, at all. We are not a union at all. Texas does not want to be part of this union. Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, they don't want to be in the union. They don't want to follow the Constitution. They keep taking things from the Constitution to the Supreme Court, like birthright citizenship, because they don't want the Constitution. We're done. America is an experiment that failed. We don't have universal health care. We do not take care of our people. We don't have social safety nets that lift people out of poverty instead of keep them in it. We don't excel at anything. We are a nation of morons. We are not first in education. We are not leading the world in innovation. We're leading the world in bigotry, hatred, homophobia, transphobia, racism. We're done. And I'm sorry that you all disagree with that. We are not the United States of America. And we haven't been since 1861, because Andrew Johnson, who succeeded President Lincoln, would not punish the Confederacy. And now, in 2026, we have people carrying Confederate flags through the United States Capitol, a place that they never even made it during the Civil War. That's treason. They should be arrested and tried.
Visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, and no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
And I have not given up, by the way. I have not given up. I just realistically now look at this country. Y'all aren't gay, first of all. If you were gay or black, you would look at this country a very different way. We're done. There's no equity. You're poor, I'm poor, and we're always going to be poor. Why? Because the rich want it that way. And there is no more opportunity in America for anyone but the rich and their friends. Maybe one or two people start something and make $1 million or $2 or $3, but that's it. They don't make 5 or 10 million, and that's what it takes to be rich. It's done. The era of American exceptionalism is over. We're not exceptional at anything. Our test scores are some of the worst in the world. Our infant mortality rate, some of the worst in the world. Our college graduation rate, some of the worst in the world. Reading skills, math skills, some of the worst in the world. What exactly are we exceptional at except hatred, bigotry, and division? What are we great at? I'm waiting. What are we great at? And people say tolerate. The left is intolerant. Yes, I am intolerant against Confederacy. I am. I do not tolerate traitors. And if you support the Confederacy or you carry a Confederate flag, you are, in fact, a traitor. And no, I have no tolerance for you. You should be put in jail, tried for treason, and face a firing squad. That's the punishment. And how come when I call for that, I'm evil? But people on the right call for that to happen to Obama, to Clinton, to Joe Biden. They openly advocate those people being tried for treason. And the punishment is death, firing squad. Donald Trump posted on Truth Social a picture of the Obamas getting out of Air Force One, and it had gang graffiti on Air Force One that was derogatory. This is what the seated president is doing over the 4th of July weekend. Now, a lot of Christians and evangelicals, every time New York is hit by a storm or California gets an earthquake or New Orleans gets hit, they say, oh, that's God, because God doesn't like their acceptance of gays. Well, honey lip sugar pie, let me tell you, Donald Trump's speech in front of Mount Rushmore had to be delayed. Why? Massive hailstorm. Massive. Then he flies back to Washington, D.C., where his festival has been evacuated several times because of lightning, thunder, and crippling, record-breaking heat. He couldn't even go on until 11 o'clock at night. You know, MAGA, if you think the Lord has anything to do with natural disasters because he doesn't like gay people, well, you better open your eyes. God hates MAGA. This weekend proves God hates MAGA. All of the red states are suffering right now under sweltering heat. D.C. was crippled. They had to cancel parades, cancel performances. It is obvious God hates MAGA. Donald Trump couldn't speak at Mount Rushmore because of a hailstorm. God hates MAGA. It's very, very clear. You know, very clear. You know? Oh, there's a person in the chat room saying you'd have 3 years for buckle up. You think that man's going to live 3 more years? Wow, you are delusional. He's going to drop dead this year at some point. He is so sick and demented. Oh my God, he's so sick. He's got congestive heart failure probably. He's got a vein problem with his legs. His blood is not circulating back up to his heart. He gets infusions in both hands now, so they bruise. And he has dementia. That guy ain't lasting another 3 years. It'll be lucky if he makes it to the midterms. I mean, Mitch McConnell didn't. You know, it'll be lucky that if Donald Trump will probably not even survive another year. He's so sick. Oh my God, he is sick and old and demented. Just gonna die. He's gonna die of natural causes. Heart failure, liver, kidney damage, something. But he ain't lasting 3 more years. Are you kidding me? He's going to drop dead. I'm surprised lightning didn't strike him at his own event. It would have been fabulous if it had, but it's very biblical. But it didn't. But everything else did. The wind, the rain, things falling down, stages falling apart, people being evacuated, chaos ensuing. At least the rain maybe flushed out the reflecting pool disaster, the debacle that is. And meanwhile, this is all being caused by climate change, which this administration won't even admit exist. I mean, they literally had their weekend ruined by climate change, and they don't even believe it's happening. That was rich. That was pretty rich. I mean, it was amusing to see. The debacle in D.C., and that wasn't for all Americans. That America 250 festival was not for all Americans. It was for white evangelical Christian Americans. And they made that very clear, which is why nobody went, which is why it was empty. And now Trump and Lee Greenwood are selling $100 Bibles. Another grift. They announced it at the America 250. Lee Greenwood, Mr. God Bless the USA, is selling a Bible in conjunction with Trump for $100. Because I guess making $2.4 billion last year, more than any of his maggots will ever see in their lifetime. I guess making $2.4 billion last year off of scamming people. Do you know the people that bought his crypto lost money? But he made $1.4 billion off of it. He is a grifter like none other. That is the most successful thing Donald Trump can do. Grift. He's a grifter. And so he had this event. No one went. And the people that did go got rained out, thunderstormed out, and had record-breaking heat. Why? Because God hates MAGA. That's why. Did Donald Trump in his speech condemn the white supremacists that marched around Washington, D.C. with a Confederate flag that morning? No. No, he didn't. Did any members of the GOP, Mike Johnson, anybody, condemn the white supremacists who marched around Washington, D.C. on July 4th with a Confederate flag? Nope. Nope. People that were committing treason. But then again, these are January 6ers. These are people who excuse what happened on January 6th, open treason, where everyone should have been tried for treason and sedition and probably put to death, according to the Constitution, because it was treason. I know the courts said it wasn't treason. They said it was insurrection. But if you ask me, insurrection is treason, in my view. I mean, maybe not in the court's view, but in my view, insurrection is treason. So we had this debacle in D.C., a debacle. He didn't even speak until 11 o'clock. Why? Weather. He couldn't go out. So it was a disaster, directly affected by nature. And if you believe in God, then it was a disaster caused by God. Because God hates MAGA, obviously. It put hailstorm at his whatchamacallit, Mount Rushmore. And after his Mount Rushmore speech, they were selling a gold Mount Rushmore with his image on it. He is such a fascist dictator. Hitler put his image and name on everything. He still has the tarp up at the Kennedy Center because he can't stand that they made him take his name off of it. So now he'll just block the name. A court has given them 2 more weeks to take down the tarp or come back to a court and explain why it has to be there. And we all know why it has to be there, because he's a petty little whiny bitch. And MAGA follows a petty little whiny criminal bitch. That's who they follow. A petty, whiny, criminal bitch. That's who they follow. So good for them. God bless them. But he's a mess. He's a mess. The weekend was a disaster. Iran is still fighting. The Strait of Hormuz is still not open. Ukraine and Russia are still at each other's throats. Affordability is nowhere to be found. Every campaign promise has been broken. And they follow him. And they justify what he does. Because again, the era of American exceptionalism is over. MAGA is so stupid. I mean, really, these people have no actual education. I'm not saying they're so stupid to be a slam. I'm saying it factually. They have no critical thinking. They can't do math. They don't have a command of the English language. They can't even insult me properly. Read the comments on my TikToks and Instagrams. They can't even insult me properly. They don't know how to spell. They don't know how to use grammar. And they're the ones who lined up this weekend to see that idiot. You know? And fell out. Hospitalizations, people falling out from dehydration, heat stroke. And did he care? No. No, he put their lives in danger. He said, no, come back and watch my speech. Come back and watch my speech. He put their lives in danger for his own vanity. What a debacle of a weekend. Just a debacle. Completely terrible. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, oh yeah, don't engage maggots. If they're in the chat room, don't engage them. They're in some basement somewhere in their mother's house, you know, with their 5 teeth. And, you know, I mean, don't engage these people. They're not worth your time anymore. Most Americans aren't worth your time anymore. Out of 330 million Americans, probably 80 or 90 million are worth your time. Maybe 100 million. The others are just irredeemably stupid. And that's not a mistake. The A in USA is not for accident, okay? It's not a mistake. Schools have been dumbing down students for decades to get this result. MAGA is a byproduct of the failure of our education system. And that failure is a direct response from Republicans being more concerned about a gay book in school than whether or not a kid can read it. Do you know why drag queens have to read to children? Because children can't read themselves. Children should be reading to drag queens. The drag queens should come and sit while the students read to them. The problem? The students can't read. So the drag queens have to read to them because they don't know how. MAGA can't do math. I have the proof. They can't do math. They don't know how to do basic math. It's sad how stupid they are. But it's not an accident. We defunded education to make a group of voters that could be very easily influenced with hatred, bigotry. MAGA saw nothing wrong with those white supremacists marching through Washington, D.C. with a Confederate flag. No one in MAGA denounced it. I went on Truth Social. Nobody in MAGA denounced it. Nobody. No MAGA lawmakers, no rank and file MAGA members. Nobody denounced the white supremacist marching through D.C. with a Confederate flag. No one. Because they agree with it. because they support it. And so don't engage these people. Don't even give them the time of day. They're a plague. Treat them like you would treat any other cancer. You know? My dermatologist would burn them right out of society with her can. She'd be spraying all kinds of people. You know how those dermatologists get with their cans. I mean, literally. We need a giant satellite to spray the South with liquid nitrogen and just freeze them like we do other cancers. I mean, they're just malignant. They're a malignant cancer. And they're killing the U.S. They're killing it. All right. So, what a weekend. I gotta tell you. Never on a 4th of July have I seen a country so divided, so filled with hatred. And it's all Trump. You know, this morning I was at the park and Help Nevada is there. And they're the ones that deal with the homeless. And I got interviewed by the Las Vegas Review-Journal this morning because I'm like, oh, well, if you're talking, I'm the reason they're there. Remember I showed you the video of the tents and the umbrellas and all that? Well, I sent that to 9 different agencies, 4 politicians, and 3 newspapers. Well, because of me, they're now there. In fact, the lady from the Review-Journal, I was like, are you here because of a video you got about the park? Oh, yes, we are. I go, I sent you that video. So they interviewed me because I was there with Ember. And one of them directly said, our job is immensely harder under Donald Trump. You know, we have less ability to help the homeless under Donald Trump. So you can directly blame the homeless situation in your community now on Donald Trump. He is the president. It is a national blight. He is doing nothing about it. He's even cutting funds to it. The $90 billion he just asked Congress for the Iran war could solve the homeless crisis. Period. Could solve it. He chooses not to. He'd rather wage war than solve the homeless crisis. And MAGA's fine with that too. But soon they're going to be homeless. MAGA is going to come out on the worst end of this. And that's, I don't want to say the beauty of it, but when Democrats take over the House and Senate in November, and then a Democratic president wins in 2028, and MAGA suddenly doesn't have their guy in office, they're not going to like it. And if a Democrat doesn't use all the power the president's been given by the Supreme Court for good, I'll never vote for another one again. They need to get in there with a wrecking ball and destroy everything Donald Trump has done. Everything. Because he hasn't done one good thing. Not one. He hasn't done one thing good for the country. Nothing. And MAGA, they can't name one thing. They name talking, oh, he stopped illegal immigration. That's not true. Actually, in this term, he has deported less than Joe Biden at this point of Joe Biden's presidency. So he has not stopped illegal immigration. That's a fallacy. There's nothing that he's done good. Nothing. The economy is worse off. Gas prices are soaring. Food prices are soaring. Home prices, rents. He's done nothing good. Oh, your 401k in the stock market. Nope. Sorry. So, what a disastrous weekend. Record-breaking heat in Washington, D.C. on the American 250 special. 25 people died in the United States just on July 4th from heat. 25 people dead from heat just on July 4th. And yet an administration that will not address climate change. Isn't that something? So, you know. And we got God hating MAGA. God hates MAGA. Hailstorm at Mount Rushmore, record-breaking heat and thunderstorms in D.C. God hates MAGA. The South sweltering and burning up, A heat dome sitting over the red states. Florida, huge forest fire, or fires. There's no forest. I don't know what's burning in Florida. It's a swamp. But Florida's on fire. Texas. God hates MAGA. It's obvious. I hope they work that out with their Lord, because he's killing them. He's trying to do them in. The blue states are fine. Temperatures in the blue states are good. The red states, not so much. All right. Anything else? Taylor. Taylor got married. Taylor got married, everybody. Oh, it was a big to-do, and there were tears, and everybody was so happy. I wish them well. They're a cute couple. I hope they have a long and happy life together. They gave $26 million to charity around their wedding. Good for them. Including $2 million to Dolly Parton to make up for the federal shortfall, because Donald Trump cut off money to Dolly Parton's book program. Donald Trump cut off money to Dolly Parton's book program because they didn't like the type of books that Dolly Parton was sending out. So Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift gave $2 million to Dolly Parton's book program. God bless them. I mean that. Good for them. And Dolly made a video just gushing and saying thank you to the both of them, because Trump cut off Dolly Parton, possibly the most liked individual in America, by everybody, by MAGA, by liberals, Democrats, Republicans. Everybody loves Dolly Parton, except Donald Trump, because he took away $2 million from her kids' school book program. So Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift gave it back. So they had a big wedding. And you know why they had it on July 3rd? Because they knew that the 4th of July weekend was going to be all 4th of July coverage. The best way to get away from the media glare for your wedding is when the media is busy with another story. And they were. They were busy with all their July 4th coverage. I saw Anderson Cooper and what's his name? Andy Cohen. They did some 4th of July special on CNN, and I don't get those two. God bless them. I'm glad they're friends, and I'm glad they're out and proud and all of that. But I don't find them funny. It's weird. You would think I would. Two gay guys cutting up, you'd think I'd find it funny. I don't. I don't even find them slightly humorous. And I don't know why. They're both cute. They're gay. They're out. They're positive, role models. And yet, together, I find them annoying. I don't know why that is. I don't know. I don't. Oh, Lord. Dreams on your comments, Lib, you can't talk without lying. Oh, you poor thing. Another ignorant maggot come to the chat room. I'm amazed they can type. Maybe ChatGPT is doing it for them since they obviously can't spell or do math. Poor things. We just gotta pity them nowadays. Just pity them. Those poor things. They follow a sex-offending felon who's so sick he can't even put words together anymore. The poor things. Just feel sorry for them. I am Karel. Be who you want to be. Someone hurt you, buddy. And remember, just feel sorry for just laugh at your local maggot. Don't get mad at them. Laugh.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here.